Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are talking about severe weather threat today, tomorrow, and day 3 outlook all. But first off, let's start off with today's outlook. As we can see here, we have a marginal risk, a slight risk, an enhanced risk, a moderate risk, and even a high risk of severe weather. By me, I put out a high risk because of strong damaging winds and a brief spin up in that high risk area of some couple of tornadoes in that area. That's why I put out a high risk, moderate risk because of damaging winds and a few tornadoes, slight risk, 1 or 2 tornadoes, high risk area, maybe a few strong tornadoes on the strong side. So we're going to watch that very closely. Then we're also watching another area right next to it. Here we have another area of a slight and marginal risk area, or marginal and slight risk area because of some brief storms that could form in this area, but not that many though. Okay, now let's go to the south. We have a marginal risk in this area down here. So, because of some thunderstorms that could be severe at times, but mainly just regular thunderstorms. Okay, let's get to our day 2 outlook. Wait a minute. Let's get to our day 2 outlook. We have a slight risk in this area here, marginal risk, and then a slight risk of severe weather in this area here. So we could be seeing some severe weather in that area. And then we also have another marginal risk area. This area over here, we're going to watch that very closely for maybe a couple of thunderstorms in that area. Not going to be that strong. So now let's get to our day 3 outlook, my day 3 outlook. These are all mine, not SPC's, and then we're going to look at SPC in just a few minutes. So, and then get to the future radars. So we can see our marginal risk from Canada all the way down to Texas about. Yeah, Texas. Then we also have another area of a marginal risk, and that's slight risk in this area here. So we're going to watch that area the closest. But there will be possible risk of damaging winds and hail, and maybe a roof storm or a tornado in that area. So we're going to watch that very closely. So now let's look at what Storm Prediction Center says. First off, so for the day 1 outlook, they have marginal risk, slight, enhanced, and even a moderate risk. A little bit surprising, a little bit not surprising, because I thought there would be, and they did. I don't think they're going to put out a high risk. I think that's unlikely. If I had to scale it, a 5 out of 100 chance of there being a high risk. Still 5 out of 100, but it's very low. So we have a 4 out of 5 on the scale. What they think, I have a 5 out of 5 on the scale. What I'm thinking up in this area, because I think there will be damaging winds, and then in that high risk area, there's a higher chance of tornadoes in that area. So that's why I put out a high risk in that area. I was going to keep it moderate, but I realized there was a higher risk of tornadoes in that area. So let's look at their day 2 outlook. A slight risk. Actually go back to day 1 so I can show you the tornado risk. Not too big, but still a big risk. 5% risk still is pretty big for today. And then a 5% chance, 15, 30% chance, and a 45% chance of wind with zig even. So yeah, there's a wind threat possible, and then a hail threat of a 5%, and then 15, and even zig. That means the biggest risk is in that area. So yes. So tomorrow we have a slight risk. They put out the same thing I did because I think they're not going to be as big of a threat. tornado risk possible, wind risk, hail threat. I think the biggest threat will be wind, but the starting of the thunderstorms, it could start out as hail. Now let's get to our day 3 outlook, and we have a marginal risk extending from New York all the way to, I think, Wyoming, and all the way back to Michigan. A marginal risk that's not too big of a risk, but this can always change in the future. So now let's look at our models, what they're thinking. So we're going to look at about now. So this would be probably about 12 o'clock, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 5 or 6 o'clock, possible storm, maybe even earlier, possibly even around 3 to 6 o'clock will be the time frame. 3 to 6 Central Daylight Time. 3 to 6 p.m. will be the time frame for severe activity like this. So then we'll continue to move into the moderate risk area that I put out. Strong damaging winds in that area. Then it still continues into the high risk area that I put out, where we're going to have a line of thunderstorms with maybe some brief spin-ups of tornadoes, even strong tornadoes possible in this area. And then it continues into starting to get out of the high risk area and moving into the moderate risk area. Then it will start weakening. There will still be a threat of possible severe weather in the enhanced risk area, and it'll move out. Shouldn't be as strong though. So then, going to the next day's severe weather outlook. There could be severe weather in this area. After a big day of storms, you could have another day of just some couple thunderstorms, but not too big of a risk. So yeah. Now let's check our tropical tributes. We have this area of thunderstorms where it's going to be around the enhanced risk area. It's going to move into the moderate risk area. This area here with damaging winds, maybe some hail, and a brief spin-up of tornadoes, but it's not going to be brief spin-ups of tornadoes until it gets into the high risk area where it's in now. This is where we're going to have the most likely chance of possible tornadoes, at least in the Minnesota and maybe a little part of North and South Dakota. So then it moves into Minnesota. Then it moves into Wisconsin. It's still going to stay strong as it's showing here. So that's why there's a slight risk for Michigan. It's going to move into Michigan. Probably not be as strong, but still possible. Then the next day we have some thunderstorms possibly in this area. So be careful. And then the next day we have severe weather possible in that area there too. So now let's look at our Cape for today. We're going to look at the Cape real quick. And then we can see as we get later on in the day we have bigger Cape in this area here where we have a high and moderate risk zone. So we're going to watch that very closely. And it continues, and there's still going to be a lot of Cape like tonight. So you're going to have your weather radio on you and make sure it lets you know for severe weather. So we're going to look over here now. The Cape, the supercell Cape. We're going to see and we're going to still see a lot of Cape in this area, but that Cape will go away. Cape is food for thunderstorms, but it will go away. But then the next day we see very high Cape. I put out a moderate risk in this area, but now I've downgraded it because there was a lot of Cape, but then I realized the storms aren't going to be as strong as I thought they were going to be. Then the Cape will go away, and then we have another day of possible severe weather. So we're going to watch this very closely. Let's just real quick look at the significant weather or tornado index. for later today, and we have a little bit of a high chance around this area here. So, but I think there will still be a risk of possible tornadoes, maybe. Then is this tomorrow? Tomorrow we have a chance of maybe some too. So we're gonna watch this very closely. Because we could have a significant weather event today. It's possible. We saw I put out a high risk. I think there will be a possible tornado threat around this area here, but the most likely area for tornadoes will be in that high risk area, maybe even the moderate risk area, but enhanced risk area is a lower threat, and then slight risk lower, and then, you know. Thank you everyone for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's severe weather video. I need to update you guys on it, and we'll continue to monitor this. If we get high risk, I might come, or if SPC puts out a high risk, then I might come back with another video on it. But I don't think that will be likely.